Okay, we're live.
Sue, how are you?
All right.
Good.
Oh. I think they can see us both in there. Okay. For those watching, we are doing the prepper segment. This is going to end up in Gary. I just got a text from Gary Doherty. He's not going to be joining us. He said Google crashed his computer. For those watching live, we're going to be doing the prepper segment. This is going to end up in episode 282. We're recording it on Sunday, and it'll go out on the it'll go out the week, almost a week after we record it. It's on podcast, but you get to watch it a week ahead of time. So,
how quickly do you get the link to me? I threw the links up on Facebook. How quickly do the YouTube links become available?
About 10 minutes after we finish.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You'll have to shoot and tell me where to go find that link, and I'll put it
By the
up.
way, darling,
Yes.
the
Yes.
Vikings won.
Yay. Very cool. The people that can almost see me on Facebook, I'm wearing my Vikings shirt today, or one of the many I have.
Sadly.
Yes. I'm a diehard Vikings fan. I'm one of the intelligent football fans, unlike the people who like the Packers.
Unfortunately, you're also one of the fans of the losers with a big L on their forehead. And when Green Bay again takes the division,
Yeah.
I'll be nice to you, though. I'll be polite. I won't rub it in your face and act childish.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
Yeah.
Okay. Live ad. Coming in 5. We're recording as we do every Sunday at ABN Army Surplus, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Gary, what's been going on new with the store, man?
Well, we just started getting in. It's that time of year. So we just got in all of our bomber jackets in 4 different colors, which is kind of nice. We're starting to get our winter gear in. We got a full line of underwear, and a lot of places don't offer, the military tactical, brand new and in the package type cotton underwear.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got that, and we'll ship it anywhere. We've also got that silk-like polypropylene. We got that in. Like I said, we got our bomber jackets in, another jacket that's very hard to find. We're one of the few stores here in the upper Midwest at all that has bomber jackets available. We've got a couple different colors. And many of the guys are going to remember the N3B parkas. That is the long parka with the big hood. Used to be, when we were in the service, they actually were real fur up there.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're fox fur, and they got a nylon shell on them. It's amazing how much military gear is actually made in China or Taiwan or someplace like that. But
sure.
We have the new parkas. They should be here by Friday. We sold out a couple of our bulletproof vests, so we got new bulletproof vests coming in as well. But the winter gear and the gifts, want to remind everybody that the hard-to-find military toys, the little toy soldiers and the tanks and that kind of stuff, we carry that as well for gifts. And we'll be getting our coffee cups in for the soldiers and the police and that kind of stuff. Well, so with Christmas season and the winter season coming, think about us for both the winter gear and Christmas gifts.
Now, just because the weather's turning cold doesn't necessarily mean that your outdoor activities have to stop. You also carry things that can help people do their winter camping activities, right?
We do. Yep. We carry a full selection of camping equipment, much of which can be used in the wintertime. We carry the ice packets, of course, that also freeze-thaw for your disaster kits in the car without breaking, which is kind of nice. You stick a water bottle in there, and come spring, you're going to be disappointed you've done that. Or the water packets that we carry, you can do that with. The other thing we carry, of course, it's hard to find, are the Mickey Mouse boots. But I will tell you that what you see behind me here is all I've been able to get this year. Every year they become scarcer and scarcer. So we have some of the big sizes, the hard to find, kind of the 13, 14, 15 type. So if any of our listeners out there remember the old big Mickey Mouse boots. Those are the winter boots for you got to be like 80 degrees below zero before your feet get cold. I mean, these are wonderful boots. Very hard to find. We have some of the bigger sizes in. We do not have the 8, 9, and 10s in. Those have been really hard to find, but we'll keep looking for them.
Very cool. So somebody were interested in some of that winter gear. How do they get a hold of you here at the store, man?
Easy. Email Gary, Gary, at ABN, like an airborne, Alpha Bravo November, abntactical.com, or simply give us a call, 605-357-8855.
Awesome. 1 minute, well, 3 minutes, 32 seconds. Okay. Water filtration. Is that what we're talking about?
That is what we're going to do for the prepper segment today. This is prepper segment number 5.
Okay.
And this one probably will be a little bit shorter than some of the others because it's so specific. But I get a lot of questions on that in my classes. That's the reason why I thought I'd kind of bring it up.
Okay.
And when we're talking about water preparation, of course, you know, with shelter, food, water, defense being the biggies, you can't survive in any kind of a situation very long if you don't have access to clean water.
Let me get her fired off here just a second. Sorry, I record off the recorder here and I gotta separate them. So
gotcha. Anybody on YouTube watching
at this exact moment? Nope.
And I don't have to wave at anybody.
Well, we get 20, 30 views easy between.
Oh, okay.
Oh, do you need to grab that?
Yeah, I got to grab that.
All right. For YouTube viewers, this is part of live video. Gary has to go get a phone call, so you get to deal with me. I suppose I got to ask my beautiful, charming sweetheart over there that is not on camera to chime in. She says no. But this is part of live video, me trying to fill time while Gary is taking the phone call. There is nobody to do the to cover the store while we record here on Sunday afternoons. So that's kind of one of the dangers we have. But
so if you're in the Sioux Falls, South Dakota area and you're looking for a part-time job,
yes, Gary's hiring.
Come down, contact Gary at abntactical.com. Tell him you'd like a part-time job and come on down. I'm sure he'd be hiring. He's looking for 2 people.
Yes, he is.
Would like you to know a little bit about social media, retail sales, website maintenance, if at all possible, a little bit of data bookkeeping, and the usual all-around Joe or Joe or Jane or Joe Friday. He needs a person Friday. So come on down, tell him you're looking for a job, and then you can cover the store so we can get this stuff over and done with.
There you go.
Thank you very much and have a good evening.
There you go. There you go. And for those of you that aren't aware, that's my beautiful blushing bride, Susan. So, and we're just waiting for him to finish up. We'll get moving here with the prepper segment. Hey, now we got one viewer. I bet you it's Gary Doherty.
No, it's me.
That's you? Okay. We got one viewer, and it's somebody in on the production. Wow. I hope we do better than that with Gun Rights Policy Conference next fall.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm expecting a couple 300 simultaneous viewers. Maybe a lot more than that. I hope so.
Yeah.
It would help if I were to be able to promote these ahead of time, but
Real radio.
Yeah, real radio. We filled it in nicely. We told YouTube that you're looking for some employees.
Oh, good. Because I am actually.
Put out an ad for you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we need minimum two more staff members in, and we need somebody who really understands social media. You know, we can teach them the website if they've got some website experience and can do some data entry and load some products up, manage that, do our Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. We need them badly, please. I'm not getting any sleep.
Yeah. I told Gary I couldn't do it because he couldn't afford me. And that's the God's honest truth. He can't.
Well, there you go.
So, all right. Here we go. Prepper segment coming in at 5. Hey, and welcome back to our prepper segment. We're going to be talking a little bit. Of course, we're recording here with ABN Army Surplus. Gary's with us, and we're going to be talking water filtration this week. Gary, what if we're in a situation where you might have to be bugging out a little bit? You're not entirely sure the quality of your water. You want to filter the water. What's the best way to go about that, man?
Well, as we talked before, the biggies: food, shelter, defense, water. Take any one of those out of the picture, you're going to have trouble surviving. And the basic premise of water, as far as the survival situation is concerned, is twofold. Number one, how are you going to stock it, inventory it, have enough of it around? And then how are you going to purify both the water that you're stocking in inventory as well as what you might have to take out of the field? So from those two aspects, we'll approach it that way and kind of look at your question first. Purification, a variety of ways. Many of them, everybody knows, just old school, been around forever. Boiling your water, for example. You can take pretty dirty stream water or lake water, run it through a cheesecloth to take all the big particles out of it, boil the heck out of it, and then let it cool and drink it, and you're probably going to take care of 99% of the kinds of things that might cause you a problem with that one simple step.
That's true. And my problem with boiled water is, man, it just doesn't taste very good.
It does take the taste out of it. There's no doubt about that. But again, we're in a survival situation in a luxury hotel. Now, the second thing would be if you took that boiled water and then you ran it through some type of chemical filtration system. So boiling the water and chemically treating it are the two main proponents of taking non-drinkable water and making it drinkable. Chemical system can be anything from adding iodine tablets, for example. Any outdoor store has that. And speaking of taste, iodine water tastes like crap. So these days they have neutralizing tablets, and when you buy your water purification packages, you can buy a package that has just the tablets that purify the water, or you can buy a double package that has tablets that purify it as well as tablets that then neutralize that iodine smell and taste. I recommend those, particularly if you got children, because it does make it a little bit more palatable. And of course, water filters run the whole gamut. You've got water filters that are the size of straws. Military has an issued one that literally is not much bigger than a cigarette pack. You can use that filtration system to drink right out of a lake or right out of a swamp, and it'll filter. Now, filters from the small ones like the straws to the large ones where you would pour water through a thing. You see the TV commercials for Brita and that kind of stuff, which handle larger quantities of water. They're all going to range for how much water you can run through them in order for it to continue to work. You also have to take into account how much hard sediment you're dealing with when you're doing water purification, which is why, surprisingly enough, and you rarely see this set out there, but I think the number one tool when you're talking about wanting to purify water that you want to make sure you have around the house is cheesecloth. Plain, ordinary, simple, easy to buy cheesecloth, because that you can strain almost all of the really big particles out of it before you do either of those two things, either boil it or run it through a chemical filtration system like a straw or a Brita type container. And so cheesecloth is a real big essential on that list. The other small tips that you can use as far as purification is think about where the water source is coming from. For example, if you have a choice between a lake and a river.
Of course.
River. Yep. Now, if you happen to be in an inner city someplace, then we'll use, Chicago or New York, where the river's pretty, god awful.
Right.
You may have to purify that stuff, 2 or 3 different ways before you're going to be happy with trusting the results of it, versus, going up to northern Minnesota, for example, the Boundary Waters Canoe area, where many of the locals drink the water right out of the lake. their system is accustomed to it, so it doesn't give them, diarrhea or that type of thing, which it'll often do for a city dweller that's up there. That's why they recommend if you're going to a place like that, even if the water's fairly safe to drink raw, as they say, you still want to filter it. And so no matter where you go, presume that there's something in the water source that you're going to be dealing with that's not going to make you feel good, regardless of the level of how bad it makes you feel. And in a survival situation, purify all water all the time. That's the rule. Because you're going to be mixing it with food, you're going to be drinking it on its own. Maybe you're mixing Kool-Aid in it to be able to have the kids have something a little bit more palatable to drink. So always consider that to be the basic rule. If I can leave people with just two things on water purification, I would say cheesecloth, and remember that all water needs to be purified all the time.
I've got a friend that he drives truck, and he can get he will bring a lot of water on the truck with him, because he could go from he's used to water from this area. He goes to LA, he won't drink the water in a restaurant because generally it's tap water, and tap water in some areas of the country doesn't agree with him.
Yep.
So I'm even just in normal daily activities, there are some people that need to be concerned about filtering their water.
You and I have talked a lot about the common sense when it comes to disaster and emergency preparedness. And you bring up a good point there, because you'd be amazed at how many times when I was in Korea and in Mexico, or you'd say, don't drink the water. People are okay with ice cubes, pouring soda pop over ice cubes, or they wouldn't drink a glass of water because they know the water's bad. but they'll pour a soda pop or a shot of whiskey or something over ice without a thought in the mind that the ice cubes are coming from the same source as the regular water source in these countries. So you're right. From Los Angeles to New York to Miami, the water's going to taste a little different no matter where you go.
And there's going to be different processes, for the treatment of the water. So
even if you're going to be in the city, even the city the size of Sioux Falls, if it's an emergency situation and the electricity's been shut off for some time, even if you still have some water source coming to the city, you got to make that presumption that their purification is not necessarily going to be 100% working all the time. Just about a month ago, we had a giant news story about a town in Ohio that could not drink the water at all because their purification system had quit.
And it went for several days.
Yep, for several days. So let's not make the assumption that the water you're going to get through your normal tap water is going to be clean in a disaster situation as well. If the electricity is shut down and they're telling you that things are, tough, you can't get gas because the pumps are shut down and all the rest of that kind of thing, consider, like we've talked about, and I'm going to talk about now, products for storing water, ways to do that. But again, consider even boiling the water that's coming out of the tap if the system's been shut down for a few days before they warn you about it. You might want to, it doesn't hurt.
Well, you mentioned storing water, and that's just kind of the natural progression as to what would come next. What do you recommend for storing? How much water does a family need, and how do they store it?
Well, general rule of thumb is a gallon a day a person. Okay. Now, this is real flexible depending upon the person. I don't drink a gallon of water a day. My wife, on the other hand, steadily drinks a gallon of water a day. I have a tendency to drink soda pop and coffee and all the stuff that's not good for me. However, in hotter weather or when I'm in a disaster situation, I do have a tendency to slide over to water and drink a lot more than. So just keep it as a rule of thumb you're going to want to wash up, even if it's a sponge bath, if it's any length of time into the disaster. A lot of the really good food products don't require you to do anything except add water to them to end up making a really good meal, like the Wise stuff we carry. So you're going to need water for cooking. And then you're going to need water just to drink. So a gallon a person a day is a good rule of thumb. It's going to be a little more or a little less depending upon how you do it, but generally speaking, a good rule of thumb is a gallon a day.
So then if you have a family of 4, and you're going to want to You're going to want to have gallons. So you're going to have 4 gallons a day. The government says be prepared for at least 72 hours, 3 days.
Right.
So you're looking at the family of 4 should have a minimum of 12 gallons of water on hand.
Right. Right. And then some of the other products that you got that could help with that, for example, because the first one I want to talk about, let's say the power, goes out and you've got a situation where you did the 72 and you've got the 12 hours worth of, or the 12 gallons worth of water for yourself. What other water sources can you have to back that up real quick before things get worse in a scenario? First of all, remember that you got your hot water tank in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Your hot water tank is going to have 30 or 40 gallons worth of hot water. Make sure that spigot down on the bottom works. Now, and this is one of those household tips people often forget about, but you're really supposed to drain your hot water tank about once a year, which drains all that sediment out of the bottom of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you've got that storage. The other thing is that they make liners for the tubs now.
Mm-hmm.
Where you can, for about $80, you can buy an entire what they call a tub kit. So I've got one at home, and if we have another ice storm like we had before, where the water or the power's gone out for like 2 weeks, we immediately put that liner kit in the tub and fill it up, and that gives us another 60, 80 gallons worth of fresh, clean water before the water system goes down.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't, you're just going to drain it back out again. But if it does, you've got another 60, 80 gallons worth of good water to use there. Now you add the 30 gallons you had from downstairs. Now you add the 12 gallons that you put away in bottled water. And all of a sudden your family of 4 can go maybe a week, 10 days, 2 weeks without even seriously worrying about where their next water storage is going to come from.
Now, the other thing I was thinking as we were going through this, another usage for water is going to be there. This I don't know how to do this without sounding crude, so we're just going to go ahead and sound crude. We all eliminate waste, and we live in a society where you use the bathroom to do that. You got to flush that toilet somehow. Now, you don't necessarily have to flush it every single time, but there comes a point in time when you got to do it.
You got to do it. And you don't have to use clean water to do that. That's the nice thing about it. If you happen to live by a lake or a river and you've got some 5-gallon buckets, you can go down and get a couple 5-gallon buckets worth of river water and not care how dirty it is, because you're not going to drink it. You're just going to use it to flush the toilet.
Right.
A better solution for a serious prepper, particularly somebody who's got kids. So let's take that family of 4 again.
Mm-hmm.
Chemical toilets are not that expensive. Neither do they take up much space. And they're really a good idea to have around for that short-term emergency. So you get a power outage like we had here for 10 days, and say after day 3 or 4, all of a sudden the water system goes out too due to the power constraints, and all of a sudden you have to switch over to a chemical toilet. You do that for a week. They've gotten really good at being able to take care of the needs in that department. Both in capacity as well as controlling the smells, as well as actually degrading the waste product. So on my list for any serious prepper, from the honker down to the you're going to your bunker place, is to make sure you have a chemical toilet on that list.
You bet. Now, we're coming up on the end of the segment here, and we thought we were going to have a problem filling 15 minutes, but we're not.
We didn't.
So, but this is going to be coming out on the weekend of the 8th and 9th, and you're going to be coming up on the 19th, the third weekend in November. You're going to be having another prepper class here at the store, right?
We are, yep. Every third Wednesday. So anyone in the local area that's interested, November 19th, I think it is, we will have a prepper class. The store stays open, but basically the class starts at 7:30. So we tell folks to wander in between 7 and 7:30. We'd appreciate an RSVP. It's not necessary, but we would like an email or a call so that we have generally idea, how many people are coming, because we do buy some cookies and soda pop and put the coffee on. But there we cover things like this: water purification, water storage, as well as everything from what to pack for your kids and your pets to what kind of documents you ought to have photocopied in a safe location off your premises, that kind of thing. So it's a pretty interesting class. We enjoy giving it, and our students seem to enjoy coming. So you're all welcome. Wednesday, the 19th of November.
Very cool. Well, that's going to do it for our prepper segment. And you can watch these live on YouTube. We record them live on YouTube. every Sunday when we record the weekend show. Right after that, about 10-15 minutes after that, we record these segments, and they're going to be coming out with the midweek show. But you can always stop down by the store any Sunday. We start recording the regular show at 3:30, and we record these. Live show usually, or Sunday show usually takes a couple hours. We record these about 5:30. So you want to stop down and see us do it too.
We would wonderful. We'd love to have you. Stop on down. You don't need to buy anything to come in, particularly this time of the year. Since it's football season, you can come in, have a cup of coffee, watch the show, watch a little football, join the conversation. We would love to have you.
Yeah, you can see the Vikings win and trounce the Packers when they play, and we'd love to join you in reveling with that. That's going to be the segment this week, and we'll do another one next week. Thanks, everybody. Yeah. All right. And for live viewers on YouTube, and we're going to go ahead and take this one offline. Thanks again, everybody. Join us next Sunday. We'll record another one.